Cosa Nostra. The Sicilian Mafia, known as Cosa Nostra, is one of the oldest and most influential organized crime groups in the world. It began in Sicily during the 19th century, where weak government control allowed secret criminal societies to grow and protect their own interests. Over time, the organization developed a strict hierarchy with bosses, captains, and soldiers, all bound by codes of loyalty and silence. When many Sicilians emigrated to the United States, the Mafia followed them. In cities like New York and Chicago, Cosa Nostra families built powerful networks that controlled gambling, labor unions, construction, and other businesses. Violence was often used to maintain control, but the real strength of the group came from its ability to operate quietly inside legitimate industries. The Gambino crime family. The Gambino family became one of the most powerful mafia organizations in the United States and a central force within the New York Five families. Its influence grew rapidly during the mid-20th century, under bosses like Carlo Gambino, who built a reputation for patience and careful strategy rather than reckless violence. The family expanded into shipping, trucking, construction, and illegal gambling operations. Later, under the leadership of John Gotti in the 1980s, the Gambino family gained enormous public attention. Gotti's flashy lifestyle and frequent court appearances turned him into a famous figure, but the visibility also attracted intense law enforcement pressure. Despite arrests and internal conflicts, the Gambino organization remains one of the most recognizable mafia families in American history. The Genovese crime family. The Genovese family has often been described by investigators as the most disciplined and secretive of the New York mafia groups. Its origins trace back to early Italian criminal networks in the United States during the early 1900s. Under leaders such as Vito Genovese, the organization strengthened its internal structure and avoided unnecessary publicity. Instead of attracting attention, the family preferred to operate quietly within labor unions, construction projects, and financial schemes. Even when many other mafia families were weakened by informants and arrests, the Genovese family managed to maintain stability. Their cautious approach and strong internal rules helped them survive decades of federal investigations. The Chicago outfit. Unlike the New York mafia families, the Chicago outfit developed its own style of organized crime in the American Midwest. The group rose to power during the Prohibition era of the 1920s when alcohol was illegal across the United States. Bootlegging created enormous profits, and the outfit quickly became known for its willingness to use violence to protect its territory. Al Capone became the most famous figure associated with the organization, turning Chicago into one of the most notorious centers of organized crime. After Prohibition ended, the outfit shifted its focus toward gambling, loan sharking, and influence over labor unions and city politics. For decades, the group maintained strong control over criminal operations throughout the Chicago area. The Yakuza. Japan's Yakuza organizations represent one of the most structured criminal networks outside the Western Mafia tradition. Their history stretches back hundreds of years, evolving from gambling groups and street traders into modern criminal syndicates. Yakuza groups developed their own traditions, including elaborate tattoos and strict codes of loyalty between members and their leaders. Unlike many other organized crime groups, the Yakuza often operated openly, maintaining offices and recognizable leadership structures. Their activities have included gambling, financial fraud, construction rackets, and influence in entertainment and real estate industries. Although Japanese authorities have tightened laws against them in recent decades, the Yakuza remain a major example of long-standing organized crime. The Camorra. The Camorra is a powerful criminal network originating from the region around Naples in southern Italy. Unlike the highly centralized Sicilian mafia, the Camorra operates through many separate clans that compete with one another while still sharing similar traditions and methods. Its roots go back centuries, but the organization expanded dramatically during the 20th century through smuggling, drug trafficking, and control of local businesses. Because the clans often fight each other for territory, the Camorra has been associated with frequent outbreaks of violence in parts of southern Italy. At the same time, the group has built strong international connections, allowing it to move goods and money across multiple countries. The Ndragheta. The Ndragheta, based in the Italian region of Calabria, has quietly grown into one of the most powerful organized crime groups in the world. For many years, it attracted less attention than the Sicilian Mafia, but investigators eventually discovered that it had built vast international networks. One reason for its strength lies in its structure. Many of its leaders are connected by blood ties, which makes infiltration by outsiders extremely difficult. The organization became deeply involved in global cocaine trafficking, particularly through connections with South American cartels. While it maintains strong roots in Calabria, the Ndragheta now operates across Europe, North America, and Australia, making it one of the most influential criminal organizations of modern times. The Bonanno crime family. The Bonanno family formed one of the original 5 families of New York and developed a reputation for both power and internal turmoil. It was founded by Joseph Bonanno in the early 20th century, during a time when Italian criminal groups in America were consolidating into organized mafia structures. Under Bonanno's leadership, the family expanded into gambling, loan sharking, and labor rackets while maintaining connections with other mafia groups across the country. However, the organization later became known for a long period of instability called the Banana Wars, a series of internal conflicts and leadership struggles. Despite these disputes and heavy federal investigations, the Bonanno family survived and remained part of the broader American mafia network. The Colombo crime family. The Colombo family is another of New York's 5 families and has experienced some of the most public internal conflicts in mafia history. It began as the Profesi crime family in the early 1900s before later being renamed after boss Joseph Colombo. During the 1960s, Colombo unexpectedly gained public attention by founding the Italian-American Civil Rights League, an organization that protested what he described as unfair treatment of Italian Americans by law enforcement. While this brought visibility, the family soon entered a period of violent internal wars between rival factions competing for leadership. Shootings and power struggles weakened the organization, yet the family continued to operate within traditional mafia activities such as gambling, extortion, and loan sharking. The Russian Bratva. The Russian Bratva refers to a collection of organized crime groups that emerged from the former Soviet Union and later expanded across many parts of the world. After the collapse of the Soviet Union in the early 1990s, economic instability and weakened government institutions created conditions where criminal networks could rapidly grow. These groups became involved in a wide range of operations, including arms trafficking, cybercrime, financial fraud, and drug smuggling. Unlike traditional mafia families with rigid hierarchies, the Bratva often operates through flexible alliances between different gangs. Its members spread into Europe, North America, and Asia, building international networks that make the organization difficult for authorities to track and dismantle. The Lucchesa crime family. The Lucchesa family developed into one of the most influential mafia organizations in New York and became known for its ability to quietly control profitable industries. Named after longtime boss Tommy Lucchesa, the family focused heavily on labor unions, transportation, and construction. Rather than seeking public attention, its leaders preferred to operate behind the scenes, using corruption and influence to maintain steady income. During the mid-20th century, the Lucchesa family gained control over major airport operations and trucking routes, which allowed them to move goods and money with little interference. Although many of its members were eventually targeted by federal investigations, the organization remained an important part of the American mafia structure. The DeCavalcante crime family. The DeCavalcante family emerged as the primary mafia organization operating in New Jersey. Its roots trace back to Italian immigrant communities where small criminal groups gradually formed larger networks. Under the leadership of Sam DeCavalcante in the mid-20th century, the family expanded its activities into gambling operations, loan sharking, and labor rackets. Because of its location near New York City, the organization often worked closely with the larger New York mafia families while maintaining its own territory. Investigations in later decades revealed how deeply the family had become involved in local businesses and unions. Although smaller than some of the major mafia families, The DeCavalcante organization played a lasting role in organized crime along the American East Coast.